After playing the first Halo, I was immediately hooked and eagerly awaited either a release of the sequel on the PC or acquiring an Xbox when it dropped in price. Then the much anticipated sequel was announced for the PC exclusively on Windows Vista. This reason was one of the deciding factors of getting a Vista for myself. Halo 2 had a lot going for it, but unfortunately the highest selling Xbox title ever released on the console is unfortunately one of the most overrated games of all time. Keep in mind that Halo 2 isn't without its merits, and is still undeniably fun. But after the post-credits scene rolled, I couldn't help but feel ultimately disappointed. It should be known, Halo 2 doesn't even come close to the original. To start, the story is a discombobulated mess. Instead of picking up where the first one left off, Halo 2 begins about a week after the events of the first game. Master Chief, Cortana, and oddly Sergeant Johnson are back at Earth in one of its orbiting space stations. The specifics of how they were found or what happened in the missing week is nowhere to be found, unless you get a novel. During a ceremony for Johnson and Chief, the Covenant appear on the radar and Earth is now in the Covenant's sights. If you played the first game, you'll realize why this is such a bad thing. However, it isn't treated as such, and it feels like the characters brush it off as another day in the core. Now my next complaint can't really be held against the game or be considered a spoiler, but it isn't surprising when another Halo ring world is discovered due to the fact that the game is called Halo 2. I will refrain from telling any more of the story, but unfortunately it doesn't reach the highs that the last one accomplished. One of the problems for this is a plethora of plot holes that will confuse even the most avid fan of the series. For example, during the game you'll encounter a scarab, a monolithic Covenant walker, much like the one you would have seen in a film like Star Wars. You're told that you have to take it down, but when you finally get on board and kill every enemy soldier, the screen goes black and the scarab all of a sudden explodes. Yes, it's as anticlimactic as it sounds. Some of the plot holes may not have been so bad if the game's audio wasn't of low quality. A lot of the plot is pushed forward over radio communications, but unfortunately the quality of the audio is so low that it sounds like cracked mumbling. But at least the audio on all other fronts is superb, including the Martin O'Donnell score. Admittedly, Halo 2 has the best score of the three games, and the new take on the iconic theme is an appreciated one. The other big problem is the focus on the Arbiter, an elite commander who shells half the campaign both in cutscenes and gameplay with Master Chief. This could have been an amazing look into the other side of the wall, but it felt rushed. Nothing really interesting happens, and I more than a few times wished to play as Master Chief again. By the end, I felt that most of the story was a complete waste of time. The Master Chief segments should have been added on to the third game, and this should have been turned into a heavier focus on the Covenant. It's unfortunate that the story is so weak by comparison to the first game. My other big problem is that the gameplay of the Arbiter was an exact carbon copy of Master Chief's gameplay. The only difference is that the Arbiter has a 15-second cloaking device. This is a poor tool unto itself due to the fact that most of the rooms the Arbiter plays through takes more than 15 seconds to sneak through, making the cloak virtually useless. Everything else about the Arbiter is identically the same to Master Chief. He can use both human and Covenant weapons, he can float jump the same height as Chief, and that's about it. This leads to a missed opportunity where playing as a Covenant soldier would have shown a unique way of refueling your weapons. But unfortunately, the developers have the Covenant handle weapons the same exact way as humans do. To say that the Arbiter levels were thrown together would be a gross understatement. Thankfully, the level design and layout is far superior compared to the first game. You won't be walking through cafeterias that are claiming to be the engine room this time around. Graphically, Halo 2 is a more visually stunning game than the original. Flood and Covenant forces are more detailed, and the environments have more objects and items in them with a higher graphical quality. Halo 2 looks a lot better than Halo 1, and it is greatly appreciated. Other features that are new to Halo 2 are of course new enemies, vehicles, and weapons. There's nothing spectacularly new with the vehicles, and for the most part there are two new enemies. Bug-like creatures who honestly appear only a handful of times, and the brutes. Brutes are simply okay, they feel like glorified gorillas, and aren't as original as the elites or jackals were. For the most part, it's nice seeing the additions even if they aren't as impressive as previous inclusions in the series. Also new to the series is a new dual wield system that allows you to hold two weapons at once. Not everything can be dual wield by Master Chief, as to why is unknown since he can lift over 1,000 pounds, and some make absolutely no sense as to why they can't be dual wielded, like the energy sword. But it is undeniably fun to mix and match different weapons, and it is especially cool when you find that perfect matchup of human and alien weaponry. Speaking of weaponry, there are some cool additions like the previously mentioned energy sword and the SMGs. Most of the new weapons are pretty cool. I say most because unfortunately the developers had some serious blunders when it came to the weapon system. First off, the assault rifle, one of my personal favorites of the first game, has been retired in the sequel and has been replaced by the inferior battle rifle. A poor excuse if a cousin would be putting it lightly. It doesn't have the knockdown power of its predecessor, it has a smaller magazine capacity, no compass, and it can't fire full auto. What I wouldn't give to have my trusty assault rifle back. Things are made worse by inconsistent ammo capacity and placement. Ammo for human weapons through most of the game is sparse. That is except for two weapons, the battle rifle and the SMGs. So it's either that or alien weaponry. All other human weapons are rarely found, and when they are, they can barely hold any ammo, making them temporary weapons for specific moments in the game. While the SMGs are good fun, it pretty much sucks that the game forces the battle rifle in your face constantly. But that isn't the only downside to weapons. Many of the returning weapons from the original game have been downgraded. Some, like the needler and pistol, aren't too terribly lowered in quality, but there are others like the shotgun that is virtually useless. In the original game, the shotgun was another one of my favorites. In this game, you can unload 2 to 4 shots at close range on an enemy, and 9 times out of 10, they're usually standing. And keep in mind, this is on the easiest setting. Speaking of the difficulty, the two easiest modes work pretty good, but it is the heroic and legendary modes that are possibly the rule of how not to make a hard mode on a video game. On heroic and even worse on legendary, human weapons are completely useless, and Master Chief can be killed by a single shot of an alien weapon. And the final nail in the coffin is that using the same weapon on the same enemy will take most of the gun's energy reserves to take them down. If you want to see how a hard mode should be done, then you simply need to only look to games like Doom 3 or Dead Space. There are unfortunately two more glaring problems with Halo 2's gameplay. First is that your team AI is for the most part stupid. They will be the cause of your death, especially if they're driving a vehicle a good portion of the time. And the other problem is the new health system. In the original, you had a health bar and a shield bar that could regenerate. In the sequel, you only have a shield bar that is shorter than the last one. And while the developers claim it can recharge faster, it actually felt like it took longer to recharge than the original. And back from the original, Master Chief still doesn't feel like a super soldier. Apart from float jumping and being able to flip vehicles back right side up, Master Chief is no more capable than his human comrades. The campaign is admittedly longer than the first game, but only by a couple of hours. There is a multiplayer portion and a level creator. However, if you are a single player gamer like I am, then you will not find a whole lot with this package. Halo 2 is released on the Xbox, later for the PC, and again on the Xbox One remastered. If you can, get this on Xbox One because it comes with 3 other Halo games starring Master Chief. Also, Halo 2 is remastered with improved graphics and audio on the Xbox One. If you only have a PC, however, then do yourself a favor and don't get this on the PC. First off, it claims to only be playable on Windows Vista, but a patch online allows for gamers to play it on XP. Simply put, they were just trying to sell Vistas. But the larger reason why you shouldn't buy Halo 2 on the PC is because Halo 2 ends with one of the most surprising and out of left field cliffhangers in gaming history. To this day, almost 12 years later, Bungie or 343 Industries, has yet to release the final chapter of the original Halo trilogy to PCs. This is all due to them trying to sell more Xbox 360s. This would be like a major Broadway play production coming to a city in the Midwest, showing the first 2 acts, and then stopping the performance and saying, sorry, if you want to know what happens next, you'll have to come to New York. In the end, Halo 2 was more than a disappointment. It was a complete failure of epic proportions. Thankfully, there is a lot of fun to be had with this game, and ultimately, I am glad I played it. But if you're considering getting Halo 2, go in with extreme caution. It is nowhere near as good as the original Halo.